1997 was quite an auspicious year for a lot of reasons. New Labour came to power, Diana, Princess of Wales, was killed, Britpop and Cool Britannia were in full swing, and Plasticine came into being.
You say it's time to stop dreaming. You say it's time to get real. Well, I've been here before, and I've been real before, and I don't wanna go there again. Give me some faith, give me some time, I'll show you just what I can be. This boy's life could be mesmerizing, this boy's life could be free. Give me some faith, give me some time, I'll show you just what I can be. This boy's life could be mesmerizing, could be the king of Hollywood. Don't you take me so seriously. Don't hang on every word I say. Well, I want you around, but I can't stand the sound of you asking me to leave. Well, give me some faith, give me some time, I'll show you just what I can be. This boy's life could be mesmerizing, this boy's life could be free. Well, give me some faith, give me some time, I'll show you just what I can be. This boy's life could be mesmerizing, could be the king of Hollywood. Some time I'll show you just what I can do. This boy's life could be mesmerizing, this boy's life could be free. Well, give me some faith, give me some time, I'll show you just what I can do. This boy's life could be mesmerizing, could be the king of Hollywood.
Track that we just listened to there is going to be on it, and the next track, which has got another brilliant title, Pretty Ugly 2, that's also going to be on there. What's the story behind this one then?
I don't know. I know the story behind the video, but I don't remember the story.
Tell us the story behind the video.
The story behind the video is quite funny. I decided I wanted to be a dead surfer, so we went to are we allowed to say where we went?
Well, I don't know, maybe.
Showcase Cinema.
We did it, yeah.
I'll say it.
Yeah.
What, in Bellevue or in Leeds?
In Leeds.
The one,
we got permission.
Oh, yeah.
And we filmed in their car park. It was supposed to look all American. It looked very Californian.
A bit like the scene from Back to the Future where they're...
Yeah, very
multiplex,
like and so I'm laid dead as a dead surfer with dreadlocks and all this business. And they're picking up clues around me as to why I died, basically. That's the premise.
Well, I always wanted to be a CSI person, you see, being a science geek. So I wanted to be the CSI person in this video.
But the funny thing was, when we left, we cleared all our mess up, obviously, but we had a chalk line around my body, and when I stood up, I actually looked
like a small child.
Yeah. I didn't realize.
Sanctuaire est un mot de code qui désigne un lieu de refuge où règne une immunité totale.
This life of mine can be pretty, can be pretty ugly too. Could be full of joy and laughing faces if I'd only let it, but I can't, and it's all because of you. This life of mine was going swimmingly, if a little tragic too. Was sailing right on track until you packed, and now it stinks. And it's all because of you.
L'objet a été identifié avec le mot de code.
My life seems years ago I decided no more love, no more pain. I can't decide if I've been living for you or been living for me. This life of mine will be brighter than the day we met, but just not yet. I need to dwell on this for a year, or maybe two. My life seems years ago I decided no more love, no more pain. I can't decide if I've been living for you or been living for me.
L'objet et le mot se rapportent tous les deux au fugitif.
My life seems years ago I decided no more love, no more pain. I can't decide if I've been living for you or been living for me. My life seems years ago I decided no more love, no more pain. I can't decide if I've been living for you or been living for me. This life of mine will be brighter than the day we met, but just not yet. I need to dwell on this for a year, maybe two, maybe three, maybe a whole decade.
From that point of view, growing up and talking about the different types of music that you guys are into, did that sort of formulate anything that you did subsequently in the band Plasticine?
Probably
it
not.
Might have.
I won't be allowed to say, will
stuff,
it?
No, the early stuff was pretty bad.
Was it? What sort of stuff were you trying to do then?
We were very power ballad in the early days.
But you got to remember that I came from like my first kind of music thing. Well, they're gonna they're gonna kill me for saying that.
Don't worry about them.
I was totally into Bucks Fizz.
We said we were.
when I was about 12.
That's all right. Was that about the time that Jay Aston was in the band?
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say
there was something definitely worth being.
Definitely worth being into.
So yeah,
Shelley Preston was good.
At school. This is about Plasticine, guys.
Sorry.
Not Bucks Fizz.
Now, in your early days, when you first started out, you were managed by somebody rather well-known, David Arden, and if the name sounds familiar, that's because it is. He used to manage ELO and Black Sabbath. He said, that's what a great way to start your rock and roll career with a man with that sort of heritage. His father was Don Arden, and of course his sister is Sharon Osbourne.
Yeah.
I interviewed a bloke who'd written a book about Don Arden, and it was quite... I'll be honest about this. This is quite a scary interview, actually, given Mr. Arden's involvement in certain illegal practices. And the best story I ever heard was the fact that, the reason he happened upon Ozzy Osbourne was the fact that Ozzy was a petty burglar and moved in the same circles as Don Arden, and that's how it started. Yeah. What were your feelings at that time? Because, great contact for the music industry. I remember him taking Ozzy to Massachusetts, and that whole Black Sabbath thing started. Great connections, great contacts. A bit of a strange feeling, I would have imagined, for you guys there.
It is actually strange, because I don't actually think that Matt, who's the youngest of all of us, actually appreciated who he was. He was just some bloke who we thought, well, he's famous, and I've vaguely heard of Ozzy Osbourne.
Well, he was mates with Ronnie and Reggie, wasn't he?
And, it was name dropping, but it went over mine, certainly mine and Matt's
I remember being sat in there was a pub in Leeds. We used to meet up in the Queen's Hotel in Leeds.
Oh, yeah.
And we'd go in there, and he'd say things to he says, oh, mate, it's going to be great, you're going to be fantastic, you're going to be massive, because I had this bizarre
Don't
accent.
swear, though.
No, I won't swear.
That's all right.
He swore
he used to swear every second
Okay, that's all right.
sentence. And he said, I know he's going to produce your first album, it's going to be Jim Steinman. And I remember dropping my bottle of beer on the floor and basically falling off my stool.
And said FC UK, Jim Steinman.
And me and Matt are like, who's Jim Steinman?
And we went down there, and it was all going absolutely great. And then slowly, as time went by, things just didn't materialise. They said we're going to materialise. We were supposed to go with him to, I think it was in France or somewhere like that. And
instead, he took you for a drink at the Blind Beggar.
No, honestly, that is almost exactly what. No.
Have you met him?
Yeah.
The biography is unbelievable. I'll tell you. If you ever get a chance to read
is with David also, I don't know whether you know this from your extensive research, but at the same time, he was also managing a band called Helen, whose lead singer was Corinne Bailey-Rae.
Oh, really?
And so we used to do gigs with them.
So he tapped into the lead scene quite heavily then.
Oh yeah.
But he also did to her what he did with us, which was basically not deliver.
And she's been quite vocal about it as well.
Well, actually, you've got to put that into the context of the time span, because let's face it, she's exploded onto the scene this spring and summer. Yeah. And if they were talking 99 here, that's a good 7 years. So I suppose she has talked to him quite. I've not ever heard her mention any names, but she has talked quite candidly, and there's a sense you get that there's quite a bit of bitterness there about how long it's taken her to actually break.
I think a lot of people think her success is quite overnight, and it's really not.
Now, that's a very interesting title. Bands get titles, even names of the band. We'll go there in a minute, because you knew that I was going to ask you that question. But renewal, I suppose, was that? Was it something that you plucked out of the air, or was it? Did you have a dream?
No. Anybody who listens to all our music for the last 10 years will pick up an ongoing theme throughout every album that we've done.
Evolving, then.
Yeah. Well, no, what it is, I am a complete fan of Logan's Run, and it's a complete sci-fi geek.
I know what Logan's Run is.
Which will bring you to the next song that you're going to play about us, actually.
Oh, absolutely.
Science fiction lover.
It's all planned, It's all planned.
Yeah. But yeah, so in Logan's Run, it's all about renewal and the carousel and things like that. So the title came from.
Where does Wonder Woman come into this equation then? Yeah?
She was in our last.
She's on the last album.
Actual Linda Carter.
Yeah, she's really on the last album. Honestly.
Really?
No.
Wow. You get into trouble for saying that.
We call her Linda Carter, but she's not actually.
But she got dressed up in a Wonder Woman outfit
and looked a lot like Linda Carter. Quite frankly.
There's a girl that works upstairs in the newsroom who actually came to one of our fancy dresses as Wonder Woman and did look remarkably good, actually.
Yeah.
Seems greener today somehow. Gone are the radioactive snows. The sky seems clearer than ever today. No fuel-infested blues. I can't get enough of my science fiction lover, taking me places that don't exist. I wish I could hold my science fiction lover. Of this I will persist. by the ray of sun, stretching through this glorious plains. Jupiter is calling on my video phone. Seems I forgot my lunch. I can't get enough of my science fiction lover, taking me places that don't exist. I wish I could hold my science fiction lover. Of this I will persist. This bloodless civilization has taken me in. They've thrown their arms around me, washed away my sins. Their ever-changing faces humble my own. Their beauty astounds me here. 2571 here, and 2571 here, and 2571 here, and 2571 here, and 2571 and 2571 And I know that I'm here, and 2571 and 2571. Don't you know that you love it here? And a 2571, 2571, and 2571,
Good, actually.
Yeah.
So 97, we've talked about the music scene then. Let's talk about the music scene now, because Leeds is a real hotbed for bands at the moment. I mean, there's all sorts going on. You know, we can mention, the Kaiser Chiefs and people like that. But do you kind of look back upon the fact that you've been doing this for 10 years now, and I would imagine everybody would admit that Leeds back in 97 wasn't the vibrant music scene that it is today, but you've lasted through all that. That must give you some sort of satisfaction, mustn't it?
I think from our point of view, we can. I mean, you mentioned the Kaiser Chiefs, which I think is obviously phenomenal. I really like the band, but we don't really listen to anybody else in the area. In fact, we don't really listen to anybody else. In fact, in Britain half the time, I think a lot of the stuff we listen to is American or other kind of stuff. And we get quite a lot of influences through that. So we're not particularly thinking, this is the music scene at the moment in Leeds, let's copy it.
But it's good to be part of it, though, isn't it?
It's good to be part of it, but it's also nice to be different. I mean, the thing we get picked up on the most and people comment on the most is that, somebody only said the other day, that's the best band I've seen in Leeds for years. And I think it's partly that, it's because we're different to other people.
We've got to stand out. If it is so vibrant, which it is, if you don't stand out, you're not going to get noticed, are you, at the end of the day? Because when you get a city, you saw this with Manchester in the late 80s and the early 90s, when you get a city which is becoming famous for producing one or two bands, you do get a lot of copycat stuff going on, don't you? So if you guys can sound different, then that's
we don't even go out of our way to sound different.
We just do your own thing.
We just do our own thing, what we like, what we want to do.
The sort of influences and draw upon things to write songs about, and has it changed the way you approach music in any way?
You mean the space that we have?
Yeah, the space, if you like, the sort of early noughties, for want of a better way of putting it.
I would say for me, because I write all the lyrics in the band, for me as a songwriter, the way it changed me was I'm not as angry. It's like all my early songs are quite angry and quite depressing.
But that's because you changed as a person, I guess.
Yeah, I've just got older and just realised life's not that bad and stopped whining, basically.
I mean, we've heard a couple of songs. Do you actually get influenced by stuff that you see around you, apart from the stuff that you're interested in? I mean, do you ever get political in songs? I mean, sometimes it's very difficult not to be influenced by politics, but I mean, I guess you can shut them out if you want to.
I never do, and it's not because I don't agree with it.
No.
I like political bands. It's never been my thing. I'm more kind of an emotional person who writes about breakups and all that business. So.